The structure of the propaganda organization, identification of target audience, understanding of media utilization, techniques, analysis of information being provided is critical. Tanzania and Kenya's SGR comparison and political statements that are coming out of Dodoma that Tanzania outsmarted Kenya in Uganda oil pipeline and that Tanzania's SGR is the best in Africa have gone over the top. The scope, structure and mechanism of region's propaganda system is now getting clear. Much as some still studying the domination of the broadcast media in Tanzania and Uganda by government-friendly politicians and whether there is a deliberate move to the use of propaganda teams to influence Kenya's social media space, to exaggerate Tanzania's infrastructure development and economic growth. Propaganda is communication that is used primarily to influence an audience and further an agenda, which may not be objective, may be presenting facts selectively to encourage a particular synthesis of perception, or using loaded language to produce an emotional rather than a rational response. Uganda's lack of strategic clarity and vision is fueling political tensions and business rivalries in the region. A few weeks ago, something important happened that almost everybody missed. In November 5, 2020, Uganda's president was one of the few heads of states who attended Tanzania's president's swearing-in ceremony. Amid the hubbub of the presidential inauguration, Museveni made a statement that got regional trade analysts scratching their heads. The president made an interesting statement, saying the Hoima Uganda Tanga Tanzania route has been made as a result of Uganda's strategic security interest. An alarming political statement, if you think about it, given that the region is looking at political federation and monetary union. It is obvious that the pipeline route was, and the decision was arrived as a political decision, and very little commercial sense was factored in that decision. Unfortunately, politics, projects of that magnitude attracts more politics, and developments suffers in the process. Uganda and Tanzania are now struggling to convince investors, both regional investors and international investors, that the project is viable, and now have resorted to propaganda to play victim, that the project is being undermined by imperialists agenda who are uncomfortable with the independence of both the strongmen in Dodoma and Kampala, with Kenya being put in the mix as a vessel of imperialist agenda undermining regional interests. 13 September 2020, Tanzania and Uganda signed an agreement allowing for the construction of 1,445 kilometers or 810 miles crude pipeline. The $3.5 billion project, according to the agreement, will connect Uganda's oil fields to Tanzania port of Tanga. The signing ceremony was attended by the presidents of both countries. Now, the media coverage of the signing was largely recycled old materials, painted as fresh events. Tanzanian and Ugandan propaganda machinery is on hard drive to convince the respective citizens that the two governments made sound decisions to keep Kenya out of the pipeline project. In the next video, we will look in detail at Tanzania's oil and gas politics and what Uganda has been offered by Tanzanians to abandon the Lamu port. We will also analyze reports that the Horn of Africa political circles, that Mogadishu elements and Arab League characters convinced Uganda and Tanzania to settle for the port of Tanga, to evacuate Uganda crude oil as a way of getting even with Kenya. And now a question: will Uganda and Tanzania crude oil pipeline face difficulties in attracting investors? And is propaganda the right tool to deploy to slow down the push by Nairobi to convince lenders and investors on the viability of South Sudan oil pipeline refinery project? Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed the content. Share your thoughts. Hope to see you in the next video.